Today we're going to be talking about flower essences, one of my favorite topics. I love flower essences. I've actually been making them secretly for the last 8 years for my clients. I make custom essences. So why flower essences? I mean, what's the big deal about flowers? Flowers have literally one of the highest frequencies that we have available to us. It's very high in the ethers. Flowers are often used on sacred altars. If someone's sad, what do you do to help raise their spirits? You bring them flowers. If someone's sick, you bring them flowers. It's an expression of love. It's always used to lift the emotions. So, different diseases, different emotional conditions, sadness, anger, fear, regret, all of these different patterns that we can get stuck into emotionally are very low on the vibrational frequency scale. So if you use a flower essence, you can start assimilating a higher frequency, and that can come in. Different practitioners and people have been studying for years the different energetic properties. For instance, rose is love, and also Divine Mother. If you want to make an essence, you take completely empty water, which would be distilled, early morning, unless you're wanting to work with something like a moonbeam or something that blooms at night. Then you might want to do it underneath the full moon or something like that, okay? Or if it's the most magnificent at noontime, then you'd want to do it at noon. When I work with my essences, I do all of mine in a very prayerful state. I try to, communicate with the plant, really get the purpose of what I'm doing, honoring the plant, because you're trying to get an energetic blueprint, so if you're hacking down flowers and crushing them up and, throwing them in there, tossing them here and over there, the holographic image may not be quite as lovely as if you did it in a very focused, intentional space, right? Anyway, so distilled water, empty slate. When the flower is the most ideal, normally that's in the morning when there's still just a little bit of dew. Put it in the sun, and usually it's about an hour to 2 hours, but you can tell when it's done because it'll all start to be bubbly. Now, to hold the frequency, normally you need to use brandy. So what the brandy does is it holds that frequency, because the flowers are very etheric, very, very light and airy. So you want to be able to capture that essence. Now, so when you're done with that, you want to bottle it. It's best to try to keep your essences away from any metals. In glass bottles with corks would be better, or as the most of a natural space. I really like to use the blue bottles. I just like the frequency of the blue. Some people prefer the brown because it's more close to the earth. But again, use your intuition with that. So I end up with rather large bottles of the flower essences. And you can use pretty labels to label them, or go to a bottle supply store and just kind of start creating, so anywhere from 2 to 6 years, you want to use your intuition for how long they will last. Half of the water half the water and half brandy. So however much you end up with your liquid, you want to duplicate that, so with brandy. Okay, so we had talked about how you make a flower essence. And we said half of the flower water and half of the brandy. So that's called the mother. So that, some people, for instance, the bush flower essences, they put only 7 drops of the mother, and that will actually energetically create an essence for a whole bottle. Now mine, I actually put quite a bit, at least half of the mother of the ones that I give out. Partly because I think it's great, because then it's potent enough that you can put them in the bath, maybe like 2 droppers full in your bath, and you can actually bathe in the vibration of the flowers. They're just incredibly subtle. There's nothing harmful. It's very benign. 3 drops in some water. You can also use it a little bit on your wrists, your temples, the back of your head. That's how it's normally taken, is right under the tongue. But mine are very strong. So if you do use some of mine, you put about 3 drops in a little bit of water, and you can kind of let it linger in your mouth a little bit, or just put it in a water bottle if there's a particular condition that you're really wanting. Just put them in your water bottle that you have during the day. That's a really great way to use that. Put them in your bath. You can put them in an atomizer and atomize the room, with a particular frequency. It's a great way to work with them. There's many different ways. They're just very forgiving. So again, flowers work on a very subtle level. It can actually also be incredibly profound. I've had times where I've been very sad or distressed, and just, a little right here, and it's like, just that boost. Whoa. And making these here today, and just putting myself in this space to make them, and working with the flowers, I was just very happy to be here today.